Do you constantly watch Bedwars YouTubers like Purpled, Hannah Rose, and Boomer, yet when you go to play Bedwars it looks like a grandma is using a computer for the first time? That's why I'm here to teach you guys how to become a Bedwars god. Well, at least teach you how to not be as bad as before. Please take notes, you need it. Like seriously, please stop falling for block traps, it's embarrassing. Also, this mainly applies for solo Bedwars, but you can probably incorporate some parts to the other game modes, okay? I personally don't know many clients, so the main two that everyone tends to use is Lunar Client and Bad Lion Client. Since you probably don't know the difference between the two, Bad Lion is better if you plan to use many mods like Replay Mod or Nick Hider, while Lunar Client is better if you want to make your gameplay smoother and have higher frames. I personally prefer Lunar because it looks nicer, and since I stream while playing a lot, you should check out my Twitch by the way, link in bio. Anyways, it helps lessen the amount of stress my computer goes through while streaming. It can be really confusing at first to use them, but honestly it makes playing Bedwars so much easier, and there are plenty of tutorials online showcasing all of the mods in the clients. If you plan to keep using normal Minecraft, which I don't recommend, here's how to change your version. Whether or not you believe it, depending on the version of Minecraft you are playing on, it will affect how well you can play Bedwars. What you should do is go up to the top where it says Minecraft version and change it to 1.8.9. After this, go ahead and load the game. The reason this is better is because for some reason if you don't use 1.8, it causes you to glitch in blocks a lot and changes the way you PvP. If you are using a client, make sure you're playing in 1.8.9 as well. In 1.8.9, the PvP is drastically different compared to the newer versions. In 1.8, if you right-click, your sword blocks and there's no cooldown between hits, so spamming your mouse is technically the right thing to do. Even if it sounds fun for you to go aggro to players and just spam click anything that is in front of you, it's also important to block as well. I'm not going to get into how to do these types of PvP, but here's a rundown of the main PvP types players use. Block hitting, where you block your sword and also attack consecutively. Strafing, where you move around while attacking. W tapping, where you pause your movement by timing when you hit W. S tapping, which is the same as W tapping, just with the S key. Some videos I personally have watched that have given great tips on how to do these tactics are going to be linked in the description. There are many different types of speed bridging, but the most common one is... I honestly forgot what it's called, but I literally just call it speed bridging. Either way, here's a really simple tutorial to do it that's not in depth. Place a block, unshift, place another block, shift. That's pretty much it. Start off slow, and then slowly start doing it faster and faster until you're confident. I personally use a speed bridging server to practice, so I'll put the IP in the description. One thing I recommend though is the speed bridging game even if you don't feel 100% confident in your skills. I honestly got better at speed bridging by doing it in game more and more since it's in the environment where you have to learn it in order to survive longer. Basically, don't be afraid to fall, falling means you're at least trying, and that counts. If you have seen at least one Bedwars YouTuber, you've seen how their shop layout is different than the main layout when you first start. The reason for this is because they've changed their layout to have main things that they're using when playing, along with removing the ones they don't normally use. There's no right way to set up your shop, but I'll tell you what you should have. Wool, stone sword, iron armor, golden apple, fireball, TNT, wood, magic milk, all potions, ender pearl, shears, pickaxe, and axe. You can also change where the blocks will go in your inventory when you select them, so just mess around with different layouts before you settle. The way you can change this is going to the bottom right of the shop layout and messing around with all the stuff there. Hotkeys in Minecraft are when you use a different letter on your keyboard to complete an action that originally used a number. For example, I have the letter C as my hotkey to 5 and the letter F for my hotkey to 8. Hotkeys don't have to be only for numbers though. You can set hotkeys to easily access third person or for free look, which is a client mod. One last thing, if you're using a client, make sure to enable toggle sprint. Toggle sprint is when you click sprint once and you will constantly be running. This is extremely helpful since this is a fast-paced game, so walking doesn't really occur if you're a more advanced player. I'd recommend making it a key that you don't ever touch. For example, mine is the plus key. When you log on, press that key once and you're good to go. If you aren't using a client, just go to settings, advanced, and click toggle sprint. You can change the key you use by going to controls. Keep in mind that this is a lot of information that I'm throwing at you all at once, so please take your time when changing up how you play. It is going to be extremely frustrating at first when you change your keys and shop layout, so remember that it will eventually become muscle memory and will be worth it in the future. Please give it a try. Literally every single Bedwars content creator has these basics, so if you want to be like Purpled or Boomer, you will need to do this. So now you understand the basics of Bedwars, it's time for you to hop into a game. If you tend to enjoy slower games where you don't have to worry about some MVP++ with a 4-letter name god bridging towards your base, I would recommend larger maps. If you don't really mind a faster paced game and want quicker matches, I'd recommend Lighthouse, Airshow, Speedway, Toro, or Pernicious. Also, don't forget that maps go in and out of rotation most of the time, so make sure to check out the forums to see which maps are in rotation. Don't forget, the first rush of your game is the most important one, so pay close attention to these tips. Now, if you're a complete beginner and not very good at PvP, I would recommend saving for 4 gold to buy TNT and then bridging over to someone's base and place the TNT above their bed defense, wait for it to explode, and then jump down to break the bed. This tactic is pretty basic and makes it nearly impossible for your opponent to defend their bed, so if you don't like to PvP much, this one is for you. You'll still have to kill them though, so good luck with that. Make sure to put at least a wool defense on your bed before you go to their base though. You're no Gamerboy 80 just yet. Stick with a bed defense for now. If you are a bit more advanced, you can save your 4 gold and just immediately rush your opponent's base with nothing but wool. Or, if you want to use your gold to defend your bed, feel free to use the 4 gold on wood and make this specific defense. I'm sure you've seen this defense already, mainly because it's the best way to protect your bed at the beginning of the game. Now that you survived your first rush, or haven't, I don't know, I can't fix your PvP skills overnight, you can now worry about the rest of the game. Make sure to check chat a lot. Chat tells you when someone's bed is broken or when a team is eliminated, so you can know what colors could be going after you. The reason it is simple to know is because of the unspoken rules of Bedwars rushing. If you are rushing a base, after you eliminate them, you will head to the next base. No one really goes back to their base to bridge to the other direction, it's just kinda dumb. However, there's those random players who have no sense of direction and will rush the wrong way anyways, so don't think you're always safe. Make sure to look around towards your base often, as there could always be that random player who has a bridge coming from the heavens on the way to your base. Now that you know about actively viewing your surroundings, you have 2 options. You can either head towards diamonds or go to the next base you were intended to rush. Now, depending on the map, this could change. For example, in Toro, diamond gens are farther away than the emerald gens, so make sure to see which would be the faster way to go to another base. You could go to the diamond gens if they are farther away, but I personally don't do that since it gives time for other players to rush you. Please never buy gen upgrades. The only somewhat acceptable diamond upgrade that isn't commonly used is haste. Besides that, always buy minor fatigue, sharpness, and protection. If you are buying upgrades, always start with prot and minor fatigue, then get sharp, and finally just continue to buy armor upgrades. After all that information, I'd say that's everything you need to know about playing Bed Wars. If you want to see a part 2 on how to play Bed Wars, let me know in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed. Let me know if there are any more questions you want answered in a part 2.